Hey everybody, I'm Tyler Florence here in beautiful Napa, California at Heston Vineyards, and we are excited about Mother's Day. Let's make something amazing. I have a few spring-inspired recipes that are both simple and beautiful and guaranteed to make mom feel celebrated. Happy Mother's Day from Heston. Let's get going. So we're so excited about Mother's Day, especially spring, when the weather starts to warm up and all the flowers start to bloom. And today we're gonna be making a delicious smoked salmon frittata with caramelized onions and Gruyère and potato. Most importantly, what we're gonna be using is this. This is one of my favorite durable pieces of Heston cookware. It's a 9-inch round baker. Now, technically it's for cakes, but it's clad stainless steel, so you can put it straight on top of the burner. You can also cook with it as well, and it's gonna look amazing with our frittata. So I've got 1 small onion, 1 russet potato that's been peeled, 1 cup of shredded Gruyère cheese, 8 eggs, 1/4 cup of heavy cream, a couple of tablespoons of butter that we're gonna be sauteing the potato and the onions in. And then I've got some beautiful fresh herbs that we pulled out of the garden here at the Heston Winery, and this is it. Super easy to put together, but this hits every single time. It's a great recipe. Let's get going. Okay, so I've got my pan here. We're gonna add some extra virgin olive oil to the base of this. Now this pan that I'm using, this is my main driver. This is our NanoBond, right? This is the cookware that I use at home. We use in all of our restaurants. This is molecular titanium. This is the world's greatest cookware. So we're gonna get it nice and hot, and we're gonna start off with our onions here. Onions are gonna get dropped. We're gonna add our potatoes, and then we're gonna hit it with butter. So it's olive oil and butter to get the whole thing started. Okay, so we're gonna let the potatoes soften. We're gonna let the onions begin to caramelize. I have a nice big stalk of fresh marjoram. We're gonna hit it with some salt, fresh cracked pepper, and we're gonna let these saute for about 10 minutes on a medium-high heat. All right, we're gonna use our Heston nesting prep bowls, our mixing bowls, and these are just essential pieces of my kitchen. I love these. The handle makes it so easy to whisk, and they come in so many sizes, and they nest easily inside of your cabinet. So we're gonna start off with 8 eggs. We're gonna get a nice big whisk on here, and you wanna make sure all the eggs are very, very well mixed. Now to this, we're gonna add our cheese. This is a cup of grated Gruyère cheese. Now we're also gonna add some cream, and we're gonna hit it with some salt and pepper. Give us a nice stir. All right, so we're gonna turn our stove off here, but take a look at the caramelization, right? So nothing sticks to the bottom, and to clean up in this NanoBond pan after this is gonna be just basically a little bit of water and wipe it clean, okay? So we're gonna take our potatoes, we're gonna fold these in, and now this is the base. Again, this is a really great, what do you wanna add in this for your next adventure? Sauteed mushrooms and sausage, that would be really great. So let your imagination kind of run wild, but this technique is flawless, okay? So this is where this gets kind of fun. So now we're gonna move over to our baking dish, and this is also gonna look really, really pretty going from the oven straight to the table. We're gonna garnish this a little bit later, and it's gonna look great. Now to this, we're gonna add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil in the bottom. We have our oven preheated, 400 degrees. Once we get the eggs set inside of this sounds kind of crazy, but 10 minutes, this is done. All right, so now we're gonna take our eggs here, right? And you wanna be a little careful when you do this, right? Because it got a little bit of smoke coming off of this. And you wanna stir, and you wanna whisk right at the same time. And see how the eggs are starting to souffle and pop off the bottom? Perfect technique, you see that? This is flawless. We're gonna let it kind of sizzle and sear and kind of create like a little crust for another second or two, and then we're gonna pop it straight in the oven, 10 minutes, 400 degrees. It's gonna puff and get nice and souffled all the way through. We're gonna let it rest while we garnish it with some really beautiful stuff. Now, come take a look at this real fast, because I wanna show you how puffy this is on the outside, right? That's the reason I love this 9-inch baker for this particular dish. So I'm gonna turn the heat down, right? And see how nothing sticks to the side of the pan. And now we're getting like a really kind of beautiful crust. This is such a flawless technique. The heat is starting to pull all the way through, okay? So I'm turning everything off. All right, so we've got our oven here. Now it's on 400 degrees, but it's also on convection. So the fan is on, and we're gonna put it in the middle rack, right in the middle, in 10 minutes. That thing's gonna look beautiful. All right, here we go, guys. 10 minutes to the second, and you get this work of art. Isn't that fabulous? Look at that. It's not gonna stick, but it's also really important because it feels good to take a small little spatula. This is an offset spatula, and just kind of give it one little kind of go through around the outside of it. It smells really good. We're gonna take a plate. So this is a 9-inch center circle. So it's a little bit bigger than that. We're gonna flip it upside down. Pan is kind of hot, so you wanna be really careful, okay? Ta-da! Isn't that beautiful, guys? We're gonna let this cool off a little bit because we don't want it to melt the sour cream. I think this is a great, not only just for Mother's Day brunch, honestly, if you're ever entertaining company on the weekends and you just want to put together something that feels impressive. Also, this dismount moment, save that for folks when they come in because it's kind of a good little like surprise thing. But I just think this is such a masterpiece. Now let's make it pretty, okay? And I'm just gonna create some small little, what they call like a quenelle shape. It's not gonna be quite a quenelle, but just like little pretty dollops on top of this. And now we're gonna go with smoked salmon, okay? This is really beautiful Nova smoked salmon. Nice big pretty curls. And now we're gonna layer up some really pretty stuff. So these are beautiful icicle radishes. These are long little breakfast radishes. We use these in our restaurant, so that's where we got them from. If you can't find them at the grocery store, no big deal, but small little radish circles, those look really great. They taste delicious with salmon as well. All right, next we're going with dill. Dill is a classic flavor with smoked salmon. Now we're gonna hit with a little bit of chive. And then I like to serve it with a nice lemon, but this is my smoked salmon frittata, perfect for Mother's Day. You can't have a great brunch without bacon. Some people, will put it in the microwave and that's kind of a big mess because you gotta clean the microwave out. I think you gotta sheet pan bake it, and specifically you wanna use a sheet pan with a rack. But let me tell you why a rack insert in a sheet pan is perfect for bacon, and it's called convection, right? So when the air starts to flow through the oven, so it's gonna cook on the top and on the bottom, and the fat's gonna drain all the way through the rack here, and you're gonna have super crispy bacon that just pops right off and snaps. It's amazing. Now let's talk about what I've got right here. Now this is Heston's Oven Bond line. So when you buy one, you're buying this for life. This is a really great tool. It comes with a rack insert already, so you don't have to buy it separately. It already kind of comes with the kit, and I think it's so amazing to cook with a lot of things, right? So I got a pound of streaky bacon that we got from the grocery store, and we're just gonna lay this out evenly from one end to the other, but it's the best way to cook bacon. 400 degrees into the oven, and we're gonna take a look at it in about 15 minutes. What smells better than bacon? I don't know, not much. When you cook it on a sheet pan with a wire rack, the fat from the bacon has some place to drip, which is really nice. And you get these really incredibly crispy, perfectly cooked pieces of bacon every single time. And it's also warp proof, because sometimes you can buy aluminum sheet pans and you kind of heat them up and they'll kind of warp right halfway through. I've had 100,000 sheet pans and it always happens to them eventually. This is such heavy duty stainless steel that it's never gonna happen, which is always really amazing. So the last recipe that we're gonna make today is probably one of my all-time favorites. We're making pancakes from scratch, and this is a beloved recipe in my family. And today specifically, we're gonna be using Heston's double burner griddle. And again, this is one of my favorite pieces of kit. This thing is so heavy. When you bring this into your kitchen, you'll be using this for years to come. This is actually an heirloom. You'll be passing this down from one generation to the next. So we're gonna go ahead and start to preheat this. We're gonna be cooking this on a medium heat. So let's just start to warm up while we get our batter together. And the batter comes together really super quickly. So starting off with our flour here. And then with this, we're gonna start to mix in the rest of our dry ingredients. And this is gonna be a 1/4 cup of sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, okay? And it's gonna be a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, boom. And then it's gonna be a pinch of salt, okay? That's the dry stuff, all right, boom. All right, we're gonna take our whisk, we're gonna whisk this together, and then we're gonna make our wet, okay? Starting off with 3 eggs. Crack 3 eggs on the bottom. We're gonna add 2 cups of buttermilk, and then we're gonna add a little vanilla, and then we're gonna use our whisk, and we're gonna mix this together. Make sure you break all the yolks, make sure it's evenly incorporated, and then we're gonna incorporate the dry and the wet. We're gonna mix these two together. You wanna put the wet into the dry, and you wanna whisk this together until it's lump-free. Just kind of take a nice look at it, right? So we're gonna add the zest of 1 lemon. All right, so this is really important. We're gonna add the butter to the batter. What you wanna do is put the fat in the batter and then incorporate that. It's gonna give you better flavor, and you're gonna have delicious, evenly brown pancakes every single time. Boom. So this is the butter paper. So we're just gonna take a little bit of butter. We're just gonna smear it on top of this. So there's a little tiny layer on the bottom, not much. And now we're gonna take our ice cream scoop. We'll start to drop these down. They're so puffy, they're so delicious. There was a moment in our household where one of our children our middle boy, was having some allergy issues, and his allergist had suggested that we try cutting gluten out. And then so for a couple of years, we just were a completely gluten-free house. And that's where I had switched the recipe from originally having all-purpose flour to gluten. And then I never went back because I just think it's a better product. All right, so I think these look amazing. We're gonna take these off. Cooking pancakes for a big group of people takes a little bit of strategy. You wanna make sure everybody gets hot pancakes. So I've got the oven set on 200 degrees. And then right before I serve, I'll take all the pancakes, flash them one more time, so everybody gets a hot pancake. All right, so this particular ice cream scoop is a number 24 ice cream scoop, right? So that's gonna give you about 1.5 ounces of batter. Another really good talking point about the double burner griddle is how evenly the heat gets distributed all the way through. Because technically we have 2 burners and they're about this big, and some thinner ones or less expensive griddles, you're gonna get hot spots because that will get hot and not carry it all the way through. But take a look at this. We're getting even color from one end to the other, which is great. All right, one more batch down. Look how pretty these look. A couple of really good recipes today. Perfect bacon, perfect frittata, perfect pancakes. Mom is gonna love this. This is where it all comes together. All the beautiful presentation, all of our heart for mom, sticking the landing on all these really kind of beautiful dishes we put together. And I think these are great. I love these large oval pans that Heston puts together. These are some of my favorites. We use these in the restaurants for large like risotto presentations, also our tomahawk, and then these small little mini au gratin pans. Today, I'm gonna put whipped cream in this, which is gonna be kind of fun. So we're using this whole thing. This is gonna go from the kitchen straight to the table. It looks really beautiful, okay? And we're gonna pull our pancakes out of the oven. And this is like my really good trick to make sure every pancake is hot every single time, and including the bacon. And then we start to stack it up. So we're gonna go back here from the corner and shingle these out. Then we're gonna take our crispy bacon and we're gonna slide this right here, stretch out a little bit. And then the small au gratin pan is gonna be the perfect little vessel for this cloud-like whipped cream. Lightly sweetened with a little bit of powdered sugar and vanilla. And then we're gonna finish it with some fresh berries. Perfectly seasonal strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, all the berries. Beautiful fresh mint, and then a little bit of powdered sugar to finish. You're gonna love these. And you're gonna love cooking with Heston. It's my favorite cookware on planet Earth. We use it in my home. We also use it in a restaurant. And then this year, Mom is gonna love it too. Here are our beautiful gluten-free buttermilk pancakes and also our smoked salmon frittata. On behalf of everyone here at Heston, to all the amazing mothers out there, it's the hardest job in the world, and we so appreciate you and we love you with all of our heart. So family, make these for mom. Mom, insist on these particular recipes and check out some great Heston cookware. It's a great gift and mom is absolutely gonna love it. So I'm dying to cut into this frittata. I think this is gonna be a real beautiful piece. These eggs feel so soft on the inside. Caramelized onions, Gruyère, potato, smoked salmon, beautiful creme fraiche on top of that with fresh herbs. That is a fantastic bite. These recipes are available at HestonCulinary.com, and we hope you have an amazing Mother's Day.